Hello, hello, we're alive, and I have no tracking, but it's fixed. It's fixed. Now I'm alive. Welcome. We have a small late night stream. Probably not gonna be too long, but hi. Ari, I'm pretty good. I'm actually exceptionally well today, because we went out to eat. It was beautiful. It was delicious. It was delicioso. We went to eat all you can eat fucking sushi bar. It was really freaking good. Oh yeah. Yes. So what the fuck is wrong with fucking Evening Daps Walker? Hello. Hi. Yeah, it's been pretty good so far. We actually have some shit to check out on my Discord, so that's a thing. Two things actually, and we'll do them in order. Fuck off for a second. I'll be right there with you. Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna, wait too long about what's gonna happen, what's going on. But I think we'll just get right into it, shall we? We have here a Diaville, the game that could have been king. It looks like CS:GO, but with a bunch of different fucking... Oh. What the fuck? Is this World of Warcraft on the bottom? The minimap is Donkey Kong or some shit like that. Bottom left is... I have no fucking idea. What is going on? Huh? Anyway, let's just get right into it, shall we?
Once upon a time, an unholy matrimony was conceived between MMO and FPS. Thus, PlanetSide was born. Three warring factions fought for 13 years until the server shut down in spectacular fashion. Nearly a decade later, PlanetSide 2 has been suffering a tragic decline in players. As a seasoned veteran of the game, I believe to be capable of giving you an unbiased look at this diamond in the rough that could have been so much more. First off, the three main factions. The Terran Republic attempts to bring order and authority to our axis. This faction
it's a bit quiet.
Specializes in high rate of fire, tactical superiority, and fighting in the same base for over 3 hours. Then we have the new conglomerate. Dirty traders obsessed with freedom.
A bit
Their
loud
strong
now.
point is high damage weaponry and using it to shoot each other. Lastly,
hello, a bit late, aren't you? I gave 3 different heads up on Twitter, Discord, and YouTube. Don't you dare call me out.
the Vanu Sovereign. These are all transhumans, degens who worship aliens. Their specialty is being the dev's favorite faction and getting all the cool toys. There's also a fourth freelance faction with robots who fight for whoever has the lowest population at the time. But that's for fence-sitting pussies. These factions fight for control over a number of continents, all with their own unique terrains and challenges. Except Osher. We do not talk about Osher. Before heading into the fight, you gotta pick a class. Heavy Assault, despite the name, is the dedicated run-and-gun class. You get overshields, a big gun, and an even bigger rocket launcher. Combat medics are the little medical crosses you watch on the map revive everyone but you. Engineers plop down ammo, have an arsenal of tools, and are the dedicated class for vehicular hooliganism. Infiltrators
This seems like a older Battlefield.
Used to be the most degenerate rendition of a stealth class in any game until a long-awaited rework. To any infill mains salty about the changes, eat shit. The Max is technically a class but needs a resource to equip it. It's a tanky suit of power armor with 2 guns that you put on and then spend most of your time yelling for repairs. Last but not least, the Light Assault.
Hello, Pharaoh! I got good news and I got bad news about my heart. The other day at the doctor, apparently I have a heart murmur, but everything else is okay. I have no idea what the heart murmur is, but it seems like you came back with good news, and I'm happy to hear that, my guy. Welcome back. Hope you'll stay back. Hope you'll stay with good news is what I meant. Sorry. Why are we listening to Mickey Mouse? What do you mean? That is not Mickey Mouse. I'm Mickey Mouse. Oh boy.
This class has a special place in my heart.
No, now I hear it. Fuck you. Now I hear it. Fuck you, Happy Son. A heart murmur is basically a hole in your heart that regurgitates blood. Oh. Can you like do something about it, or is that just something you have to live with now?
Jetpack and a dream. There's also build variety between the classes through implants. These function like a perk system with different enhancements and playstyles, like putting on infrared vision and spamming smoke grenades for free kills. It wouldn't be a good combined arms game without some vehicles. The Harasser lets you live out the Mad Max fantasy for real, Sunderers act as spawn points for base assaults, and the 3 faction-specific tanks all have unique abilities. Air traffic is mostly Empire-specific fighters either dogfighting or deciding to end the lives of anyone trying to have a good ground fight. There's also Minecraft, Ants Mine Cortium for players to craft entire
You know what their good trait is, right, Pharaoh? Like, it like spits out blood every now and then. I mean, it's a hole, right? Am I? You're making me very unsure now.
Blockades, spawning vehicles, but mostly for spamming orbital strikes. These are all shenanigans in the grand scheme of things. The real—
What was that aim, my guy? No, it spits it spits blood out every time new blood goes into my chamber. I'm supposed to have 4 chambers in my heart, but I only have 3, and it drips blood back through when it needs to go through it. Oh, so you just have a less efficient heart, basically. Oh. Damn. But I get it. In that case, it's not too, like, it's not dangerous for you. It's just very inconvenient, huh? I guess that's compared to what could have happened or so, or whatever, it seems like good news. So, congrats. An aneurysm is an abnormal bulge, ballooning, or dilation in the wall of an artery caused by a weak spot. Ah, but you have a hole, so not the same thing. Right? I'm not very medically knowledgeable at all. So excuse me being a freaking retard about it. Also, I have an aneurysm in my heart. Oh. Both. So you have a hole and a weak point. Damn. Bro got all the debuffs on his heart. God damn. Huh. I'm just glad it's not any worse than that, huh? Really, I really can't tell, because, you know, I very, very unknowledgeable about this. No knowledge in my head. So I can't tell if it's good or bad in totality. But I can very well imagine there's, like, worse things you could have gotten, huh? Sorry to hear that, but also... welcome. Yeah.
But mostly for spamming orbital strikes. These are all shenanigans in the grand scheme of things. The real one-of-a-kind thing PlanetSide 2 has to offer is scale. I'm not talking battlefield scale, where a lobby could be 64 or 128 people. I'm talking over 200 people fighting in the same base, a small fraction of the continent. The level of chaos in these fights could make them frustrating, hard to navigate, and confusing, but the more you grew accustomed to the game, the bases, and the flow of battle, it became more and more awesome. The PlanetSide
The only thing that I know of an aneurysm on how one can get so big is because right before my grandfather passed away, he had one the size of a grapefruit and it bursted out, but he still lived a few years afterwards. God damn. Huh. Okay. I hope it, you know, doesn't get too bursting. I really don't know what to say here. Because I can't be like, hey, at least it's not this, or, you know, because no knowledge again, and anything I say will just sound stupid, so I'm just happy you're here. Welcome.
Is a lot of things. It could be attempting to hold a point while, quite literally, hundreds of nades fly by. You die, get rezzed, die again, get rezzed, die again, get rezzed. Any given doorway could become a meat grinder with more bullets and bodies than empty space. Now, you might be wondering, how can one man possibly influence these fights? The answer is, he doesn't. Even the almighty orbital cannon simply peppers people indoors, medics heal them up, and you're back to square one. Accepting that you cannot turn the tide alone is part of the game, but a wise man once said, apes together, strong. Public platoons are where PlanetSide truly shines. The way a faction wins is by triggering an alert through certain conditions on a continent. At the end of the timer, the side with the greatest territory control gets rewards and locks the continent for their empire. Outfits, acting as guilds, are the invisible hands that move the pieces across the board, or just Zergan straight line. Powerful outfits have access to war assets, the greatest of which is the Bastion Fleet Carrier, a flying battleship that acts as a raid boss in the sky. More importantly, outfits often do public platoons open to whoever wants to join. Imagine an MMO raid with 48 people, but instead of doing autistic WarioWare minigames, you're dropping in on the biggest fights on the map for the glory of the your faction. So just what kind of intense tactical gameplay are you in for?
Backs against a wall, aim at a door, hold mouse 1.
It all depends on the outfit of the commander, but usually you're in for a good time. There's constant action around the map, and you can make a big difference from simply reinforcing the boys in an ongoing fight to doing extremely convoluted hot drops to steal bases as a third party.
What?
Some platoons focus on vehicles. I was in one where the commander was crewing a fleet of galaxies, normally a humble transport vehicle, but we blasted enemy armor off the face of the planet. He also ordered us to wipe out all player constructed bases, which is like a mob boss telling his underlings to go stomp sandcastles built by children. So as you can tell, some platoons do focus on just having good fights without the whole macro game stress of winning every alert. In the game's prime, there could have been over 4 fully manned platoons fighting on each continent every day. But the sad reality is, with dwindling player numbers, PlanetSide 2 is a shadow of its former self. There's maybe 1 or 2 platoons at best, with primetime on weekends.
Excuse me. I'll be there in a second.
Okay. And even then, it pales in comparison to what once was. Having lost that unique sense of scale, the game isn't the same anymore. So, how did we get here? Well, for one, is the game balanced?
Oh, there's a maximum point.
But that's probably the beauty of it.
Nope, that was an NC max. It has the TTK of, if you can see it, you're already dead. The sandbox nature of the game is that sometimes you will show up to a giant mech fight with a plastic knife. While each faction does have their own unique tools with strengths and weaknesses, some of them are more equal than others. Personally, I don't mind the imbalanced quality of the game. I revel in the bullshit. After all, the most OP thing is still teamwork. Although, if you're getting outmanned 2-1, sometimes teamwork isn't gonna cut it. With a lower player count, fights become skewed toward whichever side has more population at the moment. Apart from faction strength and pop disparity, it's an asymmetrical game.
I'm probably going to regret asking this, Mummy, but what does everyone think of you? In what sense? I guess just a dude. To my friends, I'm probably a good friend. Yeah, go suck a dick. Why are you even still here? Alright, I'll be right back a little later. I thought I already disconnected.
But you never disconnected though.
Fuck you. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. But you're more than just a dude. You're a person that helps anyone in their time of need when they're sad or having a bad day. You're the funny in everyone's life because you're funny too. That is too much compliments, brother. You gotta tone it down a bit. But thank you. I appreciate that really much. Because I try to be. I mean, not the funny bit, but you know. Like an emotional support streamer. Well, I just enjoy being here too. Regardless of whether we have a good or bad time. Putter killed Lydia. Huh? Then there's random stuff happening. No, I don't know. Like, some people really do appreciate me for stuff I never would have known, right? Like the emotional support stuff, which I'm happy I do, but I would have never said that on my own. To me, I'm still just a dude doing what he likes on the internet, and sometimes shares trash-ass opinions, I guess. Right? So... I can't tell you. It's something anyone else can tell you except me, because I just try to be me. And I don't know how to do that. I just try. That's a pretty deep question, though. Like, what am I supposed to tell you, right? Huh. It is a difficult question. Because I wouldn't know. Sorry, I can't tell you, give you a straight answer, man. Your very existence is an affront to Torrent! Bro, you are a life jacket. If someone is drowning in sorrow, all they have to do is come to one of your streams and I feel 100% better. I know that for a fact because I was one of those people. And I'm glad you did. But to me, that is such an unimaginable thing to think, because I just do shit. You can tell me that all you want, but deep down, I will just not believe that. Not because it's not true, but because I can't believe that I achieved that. I try for sure, but holy fuck. You know? But I'm happy. I'm very happy that I can help in any way I do, right? So thank you guys for telling me. But again, I can't give you a straightforward answer. For me, Mumi is like a streamer that I really enjoy watching. I was looking forward to it. The stream is a place I feel like I can actually belong. A place I can actually vent, and there is less judgment than other people. I'm happy I am this place for you. Pharaoh, it's the truth, and always speak is the truth. As someone who has changed me, who has made me better, and who brings joy to my life when they stream. I'm glad. Thank you. That means way more to me than you could imagine, actually. So, thanks. Now I feel awkward because there's so many compliments. Let's just get back into the react. I just can't handle this. I can't handle anything else, just not this. It's a bit too funny, movie man. Make things better, yes.
Often you might be getting double teamed with 0 chance of winning alerts.
Oh,
which
man.
So happen to be a great.
But I'm happy about it.
Being an
Thanks.
MMO and everything, there's also
You're
the
welcome.
grind to handle,
I don't know.
has been alleviated through the years, but some things remain a huge time sink, like implants. Want to know how long it took me to get all of mine? 5 minutes, actually. I obtained my implants through fraud. You could buy a loot box containing a random implant and some ISO 4. Literally take out your Ethernet cable while in the buy menu, spam click the purchase button a million times, then turn the internet back on. You'd have a million implants and a gorillion ISO 4 to
this doesn't work anymore. Damn!
craft what you didn't.
Oh, I remember Dying Light 1 is the first time. No, that's not true. Dying Light was the second time I ever duplicated stuff on my own in a video game. The first one was Terraria. There was a glitch where if you and your friend quickly swapped an item back and forth, it would slowly duplicate. A while back. It's been long patched out, but I think it only worked on the mobile version. Anyway, it was really, really nice to do. But yeah, I also somehow duplicated my friend's world. Don't ask me how I did that. It just showed up in my world list at some point. So we somehow duplicated a world, items included. That was fun. Didn't have to build my own base, bro. Anyway, let's go.
And yes, I'm past the statute of limitations on defrauding a video game company. Speaking of which, the developers have been on a rocky road, from the studio changing hands twice, to a dead-on-arrival cash grab spin-off, and hiring a YouTuber to become the lead dev, who actually did a pretty good job. I kind of miss Rel. There were also the now discontinued Outfit Wars, tournaments for organized play, which exacerbated the problems with
Wait, so their best move was put a YouTuber in a developer position, and that was their best move in a while, huh? God damn, that does not look good for the game.
Action and population imbalance and turn into shit shows. So much so, there's this very self-aware reminder in the shop. While graphically impressive, PlanetSide 2 is a very CPU-intensive game and can be hard to run. I'm fortunate enough to make the game look nice now, but most of my time spent playing it used to look like this. Despite the potato settings, the game's been mired by bugs, crashes, and just shit breaking all the time, like when Sunderers could turn their guns into death lasers. And yet, all of this is nothing compared to the true killer of PlanetSide 2. The libs. That's right, I'm getting political. It's the fucking libs. Specifically Liberators, the most OP vehicle in the game. It's got not one, not two.
Then they're very delicious.
What are you supposed to do when a lib just...
And I will say this, Pharaoh, your community feels more like random people that I've found in everything that have been with you all for a while, like joining streams and everything. You all feel like a second family. I'm glad. Yeah, it's really sweet. And I'm really happy with the people I attract as well, because you're all wonderful people, all in all. We all have our little flaws, and that makes us a perfect family, a functional one, but it does make us... No, seriously. We make up for each other's flaws, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And we can talk about things and disagree, and that's just wonderful. I see that with a lot of other communities where it's just not possible. Right? They say one little thing and they get fucking dogpiled on. It's terrible. And I'm just glad you guys are not like that. I may drop a joke that didn't come off well here and there, but yeah, I'm glad you guys can call me out without, getting on my ass about it. The video that I let me hear was about fucking trauma. Happy I ended up here? Yeah, that was specifically for people that needed it, maybe, So I'm glad it helped people. He's being wholesome. Get him! Get loved on, idiots! Oh, man. Oh, no.
The libs, though, was it? I don't actually have the answer as to what killed it, but it also doesn't matter. PlanetSide 2 is simply one of the most ambitious games of all time. It's a game that was ahead of its time, but now slowly running out of it. A shame too, because there's nothing else like it, and barring a third installment, nor will there be. As it stands now, it's still unique, full of character, and kept alive by the fantastic community. Every TR I fought beside, every VS at the end of my tank barrel, every NC I saw get blasted by a teammate. The devs, designers, artists who built and sustained this project. The platoon leaders who see through the chaos to give us amazing battles. Even now, there's yet fights to be had. But if and when the time comes for the last sunset on Araxis, I'll be there to watch the meteor shower with all of you, PlanetSide.
Damn.
Kill you. All it has to do is fly up to you, stick its Dalton up your ass, and then just shoot. And then if you shoot it back, it'll just fly away. It's got 5k HP. What do you mean it has auto repair in the air? Imagine whipping out an anti-air cannon or whatever, shooting at it, and it just flies away. That's it. You didn't even kill it. It's just gonna come back.
It's fun. But yeah, it seemed like a really fun game. I understand. It's game he wants to keep alive, so I'm glad it did well for him. Like, look at this shit. 186,000 views. I'm happy it blew up as it did, because maybe it'll help revive his favorite fucking game. And that'd be a beautiful thing to happen, honestly. I hope anyone who still has that game that scratches that itch, their favorite fucking thing, can keep it for as long as possible. Because losing that shit, that is bad. Anyway, this was Diaville. Leave him a like, comment, and subscribe. Check him out. You know. Hell yeah. Also, this is the final thing that I have to say after saying all of this, and everything I have cried a little because it is the truth. Everything that I have said is nothing but the truth, and I can say this. I can speak for everyone and say a few simple words. Thank you, Pharaoh. I know we love you for what you do, helping everyone in a way you can't imagine. So thank you from the bottom of all of your viewers. Man, how are you gonna I agree, Scorpion. Oh man, thank you guys. That does mean a lot. Man, I'm not good with these kind of things, but I am just really glad and happy that you guys think that way of me. Right? Because this is gonna sound stupid again, but I really don't know what I do right for you guys, but I'm glad I do. I'm happy that I do, and I hope I will never lose that small little thing that makes you guys, you know, stick with me. For no reason except to still be here and provide a little bit of hope for those that have lost it, you know? I hope that continues to be the thing. Mumi being Mumi is good. Thanks. I will try to continue to be me. Oh, man. But I will now, real quick, just, link the guy. Here you go. The video that we just watched. The guy that is trying to revive his favorite game. I can respect that, by the way. Oh, man. Pharaoh, it is not what you are or anything like that. It is what you do, how you interact with your community and everything. And yes, I'm still crying a little bit as I say this, but never change who you are. I try. I mean, change is something that is inevitable. I have long stopped fighting change, right? It's not something I will ever fight. I will change, but I hope it will be for the better and not for the worse. As thank you, I think we should crowdfund a... No! Do not! There's many people in my community that just cannot afford stuff. And I feel guilty every time I take money, even when you guys say it's fine and you have enough. It's just that right now, I don't need it. Someday, when there's, you know, a few more that actually, you know, then I'll be happy to take it. But right now, I don't need it. I have a full-time job. I'm financing this as a hobby. Please. I think we should definitely get Mumi entire Popsy Slim Surprise Unicorns. No! Even worse! No! Oh, we enjoy your streams a lot, Pharaoh. Just to get back to change it for the better. Fucking this fucking bastard. Oh. Hold on, let me see something. Hold on. How you guys doing? How you guys?
Doing?
Stop. Are you gonna keep playing that?
Not
Do I
for
come
long, maybe.
useless?
Not for long, maybe.
I need an answer because I still have one more video to watch.
Yeah, go watch it.
All right, later. All right. Do you know what I'm going to do for? I am going to make something. It's not going to be a knife or anything like that. It's going to be something to remember everyone in your community by. Oh my god. Let's fix your mic. Why does that keep happening? Sorry about that. I'm alright. Weather's getting nicer every day. How are you? Pretty good. Still looking for work. Ugh. I hope. No, you had the day before yesterday. Didn't you have another interview after the one that they said the position was filled? Did that go good? I hope it did. I had 2 this week. Yeah, I remember. Did the second one go well? The one with the better job. I hope you bring us good news soon, brother. Also, you guys do way too much for me. Like all the fucking memes. I already said this to someone else in the YouTube comments, but the amount of love I've already been shown in terms of memes made about me, fan art, being included in fucking other people's videos, the cameos, the collabs I had. This was something a mere 2-3 months ago I would have never expected. Yeah, Mumi Sweeney was probably one of the first ones. No, it was the straight jacket. The straight jacket that you did, Azurhood. That was probably the first meme I have ever received about myself. And you do not know how happy that shit made me. And it just, it just hits the feels in a really bad way. In a good way, but in a I got hit really deep in the feels. The second one went well, but the guy in charge of the debt debt is out on medical right now. I have another interview set up for Monday. Oh, it went well. So we can. Okay, there's a chance. There's a good chance, but yeah, continuing to do interviews is probably a good idea. Good on you, buddy. Good thinking. They want to know what it is, Pharaoh. I'd much rather you leave it a surprise. Right. Hold on. I can look this up right. You can receive your letters earlier in the day. Holy shit. So, alright. Everyone heart tsunami. Oh no! The moment you called me a bot, I knew I'm gonna make this Gramps a star! Oh man. The bad thing about the second interview is it's for a second shift position, which I'm not particularly fond of, but shit, I need something, lol. And that one pays very well. Well, I think it is not a bad idea to do something you don't like for money for a while until you can finance the thing you want to do. Right? I am this will come from a place of, you know, privilege and higher up, I guess, but I am lucky enough to do both. I am lucky enough to do work that I love, working with wood, right? And finance my hobby with it and have money left over because of my living situation. Find something soon? Hell yeah. And I believe in you that you will. But so I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite when I say these things, but I mean them. These are things that I would have done if I couldn't find a job that I liked. It's hard to find a good employer that can pay well. That's true. That's true. That's why I appreciate my boss to hell and back. Because he actually gives you rewards if you outperform and shit. Because just this week alone, or last week included, on Monday, I already told this story, but on Monday, I like finished 3 like jobs, and I went to our machine producer guy, and he was like, I don't have anything for you right now, except this one. And then I look at, then he tells me the name of the job, and I'm like, you already gave me this last Friday because you didn't have anything else lined up. It was like, oh, did I? And he went to the boss and asked whatever, if there's something I can do still for tomorrow on Tuesday. And instead, there was nothing. There was maybe like 1 hour of work I could have done on Tuesday. So he gave me the day off because I just finished all the jobs too soon, too fast. You know, you can, you get rewards if you perform well. Also, I had my pay increased every year steadily so far, and not by a small amount, to say the least. That's legit. I've worked with people like that. Yeah. And sometimes he does make mistakes, that's true. Like that one time, we still talk about it at work, but that one time he told us, you're allowed to work faster, something like that. I can't translate it one to one, but it was a really dumbass take, right? He was like, we were in a high stress situation as a thing, human after all. Yeah, but the important thing is he brought us all back together in the evening when he said it in the morning the same day, and apologized because he realized that was a dumb thing to say, because everyone was already under a high stress. And you know, but we appreciate him for that. I appreciate my boss really, really much. You know? So it should be, yeah. I have a good boss and I'm lucky with that. I am lucky with my living situation right now. I have a stable job, stable income. My boss isn't an asshole. He's actually a pretty decent person. My coworkers are good. We can insult each other at work and it's fine. That is something not everyone can have. And we still, you know, look, I have. Currently. I'm probably not always going to be this lucky. But yeah, I'm happy I do. Just because you have a lot of money and know powerful people doesn't mean you're holier than thou. Yeah. And I'm glad, because even when one of us has to put our foot down in front of like a what do you call it, customer or shit or contractor, we can do that without fear of being fired afterwards. I've seen multiple of my coworkers have to put their foot down, like, this is simply not possible, and like almost scream, like in a harsh tone, just say, we can't do that to a customer and shit. And it would be, it's considered very real rude, right? But it calls for that situation sometimes. And the boss supports that because he said once, I don't work with people with no backbone. You guys need that and are allowed to have it. The tradies wars on the job site. So I'm glad to know that my boss has my back. And again, that's not something everyone can expect. It's a really lucky situation I'm in right now, and not everyone can have that kind of situation. And I'm aware of that. That's why I sometimes feel like a hypocrite for saying, hey, shitty situation, but you need to get through it, you know. I don't want to kill the mood, but I want to vent on for a bit. You're allowed to. It's really nice knowing you have a boss like that. It makes me work the work environment more friendly. Yeah. Yesterday I got angry about something, like really angry. Couldn't take it. I was just too much. Scratching myself and other stuff. I don't know what to do now. Feel better now, but still not good. Not that good. Anger. Anger is a very powerful emotion that if you don't let it out in a healthy way will eat you alive, literally. It is also a topic I try to be careful around because the false advice can lead you down a dangerous path real quick. You have to get that energy out someplace. Yes. For me, usually I played fucking FPS multiplayers, PvP, that kind of stuff to let all of it out by screaming and getting angry. But Merwald, for example, does kickboxing with a sand bag, right? Yes, I know. I still have the marks from yesterday. And self-hurt is definitely not a good thing. If you want to feel a little bit of pain, hit something that doesn't mind getting hit. A sandbag, boxing things, whatever. If you have concrete walls and you don't bother anyone, get boxing gloves and hit the wall with it. That's something that can work as well. Right? Even going on a walk will help. Yeah, taking a walk also helps some people. I just, I hope everyone here can get better in their own way. But I hope you will get better soon too. At everything. It'll take a while, but we'll work together on it, right? I'll be here almost every day. Sometimes I can't help it. Still have like right I have societal duties every now and then where it takes me away from streaming, but I try to be here every single day. And I hope, how do you interact with your community and help everyone their own way when they need help? I just try, man. All I can do is try. When it comes to people, there is no such thing as just succeeding in life. Yeah, there's many people who have already succeeded that say, just succeed, just do it. And that's stupid fucking advice, in my opinion. Because all you can do is try. And just based on the numbers are stacked against you. Because all those people that say just do it are in the top 1%. Those people, in no bad way, got lucky. Because luck plays a role in life. A big one. And yes, sometimes someone gets lucky, gets an opportunity, and fucking misses. Because they didn't try. Which is why I'm trying to make everyone try. I use try like a cheap whore, but it's really important to me that everyone at least tries to get better. And it won't always succeed. It won't. But it's important. Make a playlist of some awesome gyms and go walk it off. I normally don't get that angry. When I do, I would normally just cry, but I really was angry. I don't think crying is a good outlet for anger. Because I know from yourself that you hide your tears, and I don't think it's healthy for you to cry when you're angry. Because it doesn't let out all the energy that you have stored up from anger. It was supposed to say this is how. Punched my pillow a few times, didn't help, and before I knew it, I dug my nails into my arm and just scratched. Then you know about the scissors, didn't break the skin but left lines. I think you should get into a sport for sure. I think you have a lot of energy, pent up energy that you can use in a really good way. I think you can have a really good balance between a sport. Even just like boxing for the sake of boxing, not even going into like tournaments or fighting people, but just like getting into boxing with a sandbag would be a really good balance between the drawing you do and the raw energy you have. I talk like a fucking TikTok crystal believer, bro, but yeah, it is like that. You know, we gotta use some hobby to burn off all the energy you have pent up. Yeah. It helped me when I went to karate for a few years. That certainly did help with anger issues as well. Yeah, but I do lose interest so fast, I can't even feel the motivation to draw anymore. It's because that is your only outlet, right? With gaming, which I chose as a outlet, I had many different games to play, so I never got bored of a single game. Because I could always just switch it up. But with drawing, it's different, because if you like only use the pen, you can only use the pen, right? I know when I'm cooped up during winter for so long, I definitely get a little antsy and more anxiety ridden. Yeah, yeah. I really do believe that could help you. Starting new routines and breaking old habits is difficult. That's true. It takes a really long time to break a bad habit. Which is why I want everyone to just try again. It is something very important to me that people do that. I mean, I do play games a lot, probably more than drawing. Yeah, finding the balance is the important part as well. Yeah. All right. I think now is a good time to...
Very few fit.
Shut up. Wait. Oh no, it's fine. Because games take up 245 gigabyte of my phone storage. Oh, right, you play on the phone. Fair enough, but still. Results are going to come like a... results aren't going to come like a sunrise after a bad night. It's a changes like we see with the seasons. Yeah, it's very slow. That's true. I feel you on the storage issue. Hey, goddamn. Yeah, no, I get that. I think now is a pretty good time to move on a little further to Turkey Tom and the inclusive fitness TikToker who doxes his critiques. Scotty K Fitness. What the fuck? Did play a few PC games, but the PC is not in my room and I normally don't want to go out my room. That's fair. I don't either.
Very few fitness influencers have emphasized inclusivity and compassion more than Scotty K. So you can imagine how shocking it was to find out he had been making fun of people for being disabled on his main account. But that was just the beginning. After posting the home address of one of his haters, Scotty's detractors unraveled a web of lies so huge that it spanned Scotty's entire life. Now, the once promising star of the fitness community has his reputation in the gutter, and it's unlikely that it will ever recover.
I've built this entire platform on inclusivity and kindness.
What?
And I lost sight of that in my own ego.
While he had already been making successful videos since mid-2024, Scotty really jump-started his online career the same way that many fitness influencers do, going after and mocking really low-hanging fruit. In his case, criticizing V-Shred. V-Shred is another fitness YouTuber who's been posting for about 10 years, and he became notorious for pushing completely baseless exercise advice. He quickly became one of the most hated people in the entire fitness community.
Oh, shit. He's getting milked more than fucking this pirate software. What the fuck? Funny thing, there is still 229 gigabytes of storage available on my phone. God damn, that's a beefy fucking phone. Like to play tower defense and RTS games in mobile? What genres are you good? Oh, that's nice. Hello, Sly Maverick. Hello, welcome. Is that a fucking It is a Luigi profile pic.
To the point where it was very easy content to make fun of him.
One of the biggest mistakes for women who want to lose weight is eating cortisol triggering foods.
What?
I have no idea about this kind of shit. Right? But it's more about calories as a whole, no? Calorie intake versus output, kind of like this. Like my cortisol fresh.
The biggest mistakes for women who want to lose weight. Cortisol? This is the problem. This is the problem.
While some people took issue with how performative Scotty's reactions to V-Shred were, he ultimately was given a pass because what he was saying was true. V-Shred himself would continue to be a motif in his content to the point where the first autofill result on YouTube for Scotty K Fitness includes V-Shred right after. During the summer of 2025, Scotty became one of the most recognizable and beloved fitness creators on all of TikTok. Whereas many people in this genre are noticed purely for how jacked they are, Scotty had a few things to set him apart. Firstly, he has a giant mustache. Secondly, he had some serious life experience. He had been deployed to Afghanistan, he was a former police officer, a former firefighter, and he had spent some time working as a bounty hunter. All of this contributed to the sort of tough guy persona his brand was built on. But at the same time, he didn't take himself too seriously. He made silly cooking videos.
We're making meat pies. Pay attention. 100 grams of white onion in the bowl. 10 grams of garlic. It's fine. Get a skillet. Lightly spray with olive oil.
I don't like how many cuts there are in there. I just don't like too many cuts in general. That is a bit hypocritical for me because I did make a video where there's 20 minutes with like what 10k cuts in there or something, but it was just straight up punishments only that I took. Anyway, whatever. Fuck off. Genshin takes a oh, this is about the game. All right. Plugs in some other less known games. Take up a lot of storage. Oh yeah, I forgot about Pokemon Go. Does Pokemon Go take that much storage? I want a Stromboli. Mummy is so hairy. This guy's mustache is as hairy as Mummy's left big toe. I feel personally attacked because that is a really big mustache.
Sweat your veggies. Why do you suck?
And he shared the more nerdy parts of his personality, like his obsession with Fallout. It went so far that his entire home gym theme was based on the game, and there was some actual substance to his content. He placed a large focus on progressive politics and being a sort of father figure for his audience. For example, in this video, he teaches them how to shave their face.
What's up, kid? Mind if we talk? I didn't have a dad to teach me how to shave growing up. Let's talk about it. Wash your face. You may spend a long time wondering what kind of man you're supposed to be without a father to guide you. And that's okay.
One of the top comments reads, "I'm a 25-year-old man finding comfort in this. I never had a father figure and have always felt lost." Between his weight loss and fitness journey posts, as well as his collaborations with other beloved fitness creators, he exploded in popularity, reaching 4 million followers on TikTok. He was so popular, in fact, that companies began sponsoring him, including Rise, a well-known energy drink company. But Scotty had a problem on his hands. You see, if you build an audience by doing whatever that audience would want or expect you to do, you sort of lock yourself into pandering to them. Eventually, you may find yourself doing things out of your comfort zone, just for the fact that you think your audience will like.
I hope I never get to that point, personally. I hope I will just do whatever I want and people will join if they think it's cool. Like right now. I don't want to change for others like that, because I think that's a negative change, right? Because you guys don't force me to do shit, or like, except for Azurhid, he wants me to watch his videos. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. But you know, in all, you guys, you know, are pretty nice. I don't have any other words to describe it, but yeah. So that's a rather unfortunate situation the guy is in, I guess.
You more for it. Of course, this tends to lead certain content creators into making unwise decisions. And that's how Scotty took the first step toward his ultimate downfall. As a reaction to the recent shootings involving ICE, he decided to make a video to denounce ICE, Donald Trump, and anyone who supports them, which got almost 30 million views on TikTok. While Scotty had always been somewhat left-leaning, making an outright political statement like this did come out of left field for many. Whether you agree with him or not ultimately doesn't matter. What matters is that this attracted him some level of negative attention from those who did disagree, one of them being Runvis Coaching, who brought a new piece of information about Scotty to the public.
You're clearly very amped up about what you deem an excessive response to something that was not that problematic. But if that's the case, shouldn't you be consistent with that across everything? So say somebody said you looked like a gay guy, and then you doxed him, his job, his address, and his entire family. Would that be something that was too excessive?
Runvis's claim here is obviously extremely serious, and if he hadn't provided proof, it's likely he would have had a serious problem on his hands. But as it turns out, he did have the original video of Scotty archived.
What the fuck? I'm going to get a friend in stream right now? Huh? Oh, let me check. Play what? God damn, I'm only level 31 or something, but I did stop a while ago. Holy, you guys are pretty big levels. God damn, big numbers right there.
He opens by saying that he has no problem with receiving hateful remarks, as it's something every creator deals with. What he says he does have an issue with is homophobia. He then highlights a comment reading, "You look like the gay brother on Ozarks that gets pounded by the FBI agent." But what Scotty does next is undoubtedly over the line.
And something else you may not know is that I'm a former bounty hunter. So, welcome.
That is excessive, brother. What the fuck?
To real-life consequences.
Real-life consequences for a dumbass comment on the internet. This is way out of line, you dumb piece of shit.
Middle name is... You were born in September of... The last 4 digits of your phone number are... You're a journeyman welder at your UA local... You've been there since February... And hey, that's some pretty good money. Which probably is how you afforded that 3-bed, 2-bath house off of right across from the... Where your HOA dues are around $264 a month. It's pretty pricey.
This video is titled Real Life Consequences, a phrase that would soon become bitterly ironic. The fact that a simple mean comment was enough for him to post the address of this commenter, where the man's children...
Runya! Ethelnar, hello, welcome, and thank you for a follow. But what the fuck is this insane dude on about? I tried to catch a Pokemon by screen went black. Goddamn! Don't get me started. I'm gonna skip the game dialogue if you're okay with that. This guy, you said it insane. God damn, what the fuck is wrong? You'd think that this dude can think a bit clearer about what he's gonna do. Because he not only recorded that video, he not only did the research on that video, he then publicized it, uploaded it, and thought it was a good idea. How? Who is this guy? Well, he was introduced to us as a very wholesome guy who just gives life advice and is a father figure online. Which, you know, if you like that, good for you. But, because someone just called him gay, and yeah, you look like the gay guy that got pounded by FBI was the comment, right? He doxed his address, phone number, taxes, financial situation, face, name, middle name, and last name. Yeah, that's just a bit much, right? You got called gay once, my bro. It's not that deep. He is unhinged? Yeah. Yeah. God damn. We're 5 minutes into the video. How the fuck? My man is very insecure about his sexuality. I guess so. Yeah, started off good, then out of nowhere, serial killer vibes. Like, what the fuck? Liver King went psycho to what the fuck is with all these fucking bodybuilders, bro? What the fuck? I had a conversation about bodybuilders this fucking evening with my sister, where we talked about how fucking unhealthy most of them here of them are. I hear a badge wearing twink around here. Badge? Where the fuck is my badge? I don't have a badge. I mean, except my middle finger, that's my badge, I guess. That is a joke from a different, you know. Anyway. Bot? No, I've never gotten this kind of bot before. I'm not that person. That's okay. No, I don't have an issue with those kind of comments, by the way. You're very free to do those. Are juicing and denying it.
Also live, was seen as a few steps too far. While it's not exactly a call to action, Scotty did have a lot of followers to whom he broadcast all of this.
Holy shit. Oh yeah.
Guy's information, as he simultaneously calls him a homophobe. And the worst part is that, although this is the most high-profile instance of Scotty doxing someone, it wasn't the only time he had done it. During that same month, January of 2026, just a few days later, someone in his comment section said, "All that mustache and still uses pronouns," with a clown emoji. Scotty—
No, please don't. Don't. Oh no.
He responded, firing back with an insult at first. But 14 minutes later, he posted this commenter's full name, along with even more information. Found you, paralyzed from the chest down with a failed YouTube and an obsession with four-wheelers and motocross. I wonder how you sustained a spinal cord injury. Drifting in the snow looked fun, though. This comment officially broke through Scotty's persona. Now, not only was he doxing his critics, he was also making fun of said person with that information for being a paraplegic. Multiple times, Scotty had gone out of his way to make videos with his disabled sibling, Wesley, wherein—
oh yeah, ironic and also disgusting.
one of the main focuses was statements about how bad it was to marginalize people with disabilities. "Stop using the R word," he writes. "Here's why. Most people—"
No, retard is just not an insult to, you know, people with disabling sicknesses and injuries. That's just not it. Retard is just for dumb people on the internet. It's that easy. Same with the F slur that was used not for, you know, by the modern people, not for gay people, but for idiots and annoying people on the internet. Anyway. In real life, maybe not so much, but on the internet, for sure. God damn it. Fucking hell.
Use that word to describe them or someone else being stupid, without stopping to consider how harmful and hurtful the word is to those with intellectual disabilities. The top comment on this post reads, "We made the right guy famous, people." But just a few months later, Scotty's actions had now totally betrayed the image he built for himself. And it wasn't just his haters who had a reason, but also his own fans. This betrayal of his public image would ultimately cost him his sponsorship with Rise as well. Effective immediately, Rise is no longer affiliated with or represented by the individual involved in recent controversy.
I understand this one. Usually I'm not a fan of companies just Xing with their content creators, but this one is understandable because that goes way too far. And I had to say it, but I'm one of those people with the intellectual disability. That's okay. Again, retard is for idiots. Hold on. Before I continue talking, let's talk about medical history and their terms. Do you know what was used before mental disability? Retard. That's correct. Do you know what was used before retard? Idiot was a medical term at some point. Do you know what was used before that? Dumbass was used as a medical term before idiot. Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. I don't want to spread false information, but I'm very sure that's the case. Hold on. Idiot medical term. It was formerly a 19th and early 20th century medical and legal term classifying individuals with profound intellectual disability, typically defined as having a mental age of less than 3 years old or an IQ below 30. All right, that says it already. Historically, the term idiot was moron. Oh, it was moron, not dumbass. Yeah, it was moron, not dumbass. Sorry about me. Imbecile, moron. Yeah. Yeah, those were all medical terms before retard. And now we just say those things. They're not feeble-minded. That is a feeble-mind joke, and I love it. I'm learning, yeah. And again, that's why I think retard is just not an insult to mentally disabled people, because mentally disabled people can't help themselves, so they're not retards as a insult. You don't call them retard, you call them mentally deficient or whatever the sickness they have, like Down syndrome or whatever. You say a person with Down syndrome, that's what you do. Everything else is just considered rude. You call retards on the internet retard because they can help themselves but choose not to. There is a very big difference. And if we really want to go the route of, oh, retard is a slur, then we'd have to ban all the other words as well that were used before retard. It's that simple. And I'm sorry if this, like, in any way is bad towards you, Scorpion. Right? I don't mean that. I just wanted to explain why I don't think retard is an insult to people with actual disabilities. I hope that clarified stuff. They were used at the same time. They were varying scale, but retard was the least damaged. Yeah, or slow. Yeah. I'm learning. Sometimes I'm educational. Anyway. Again, sorry about the misinformation with the dumbass. That was not true. It was moron. I switched the words up. Sorry about that.
We are aware of comments made by this prior affiliate that were hurtful and inappropriate towards individuals with physical and mental disabilities. While Scotty
is an understatement.
He had previously maintained silence on this issue. Now that it was affecting his bottom line, he knew he had to say something. And with one of the main criticisms against him being that his beliefs were ultimately performative, it's not a surprise that this video was seen as more of the same.
For days now, I have been lying to myself.
Pharaoh, you're entitled to your own opinion and your own ethics code that you make up. I can give 2 fucks left of what you think. No offense to the Pharaoh. Oh no, it's fine. I just didn't know if anything like hurts people. But I don't think if retard hurts someone, then maybe I'm just not the guy for them. Because it just isn't. And technically, hold on. I again need to look something up. Sorry, shut up real quick. No, attention is not considered. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You look better with beard. People find a word to insult others. Well, if we go to insults, the most basic insult you can do is call someone something they are not. Right? Be it an animal, object, or whatever. That is the most basic insult in its truest form. Calling someone something they're not. Like, oh, you're such a brick. You're such a donkey. You're such a monkey. You're, just anything they are not. Technically, we could say that if you call a gay person straight, that'd be an insult. Technically. Right?
Like, I'm a good person. I've done a lot of good for the world.
Wait, what?
Saying things like, I'm a good person.
Okay.
I've done a lot of good for the world.
Uh-huh.
It's all bullshit deflection to keep me from taking responsibility for my own actions. I've built this entire platform on inclusivity and kindness. And I lost sight of that in my own ego.
Scotty's empty sniffs, deep breaths, and watery eyes ultimately did very little to convince the audience that he was sorry for his actions. This is so performative, bro. Get on with it. Just a theater kid with a fitness platform. Stop deleting comments, buddy. You didn't
Holy shit.
Even explain what you did. You only apologize because your sponsors are dropping you. While I don't think that Scotty completely faked his emotions, it seems like he's coming from a place of realizing that he's overstepped his boundaries. And now he regrets it. He wants to go back to being the silly TikTok fitness guy as soon as possible. If his apology had been more convincing, that actually could have happened. But once people dug into his past, they began realizing that with or without this event taking place, his career was probably doomed from the start. While the internet was eating Scotty alive, he posted a new message to his Discord server. He first reiterates his apology, but then states that the situation had earned him some real-life consequences. He claims a few people had showed up at his family's home, forcing them to skip town. Meanwhile, internet sleuths began digging into Scotty's past. They quickly found that Scotty...
I'm sorry. But that hacker is so fucking Slavic meme coded. Like, look at that. Just look at back and forth.
Began digging into Scotty's past. They quickly found that Scotty
with the dirtiest room too. Hold on.
They quickly found that Scotty wasn't his real name. In April 2025, he had filed to change his name from Matthew Scott Kramer to Scotty Knox Flynn. Now, this wasn't exactly something he was hiding. He had posted an explanation for what happened long before the controversy began.
Some of you already know this, but my parents suck. My mother abandoned me when I was 14 and she was a drug addict. I met my father one time, who was also a drug addict, and he didn't know my name. I haven't spoken to my mother in about 16 years. I still carry a lot of...
Slavic? Because of balaclava? No, it just looked a bit like that. It gave off the vibes, you know? I did grow up Slavic, so I do recognize it a little bit, right? And I've been to places.
With me for my child.
Also, sorry to hear about his childhood, but that doesn't excuse any of his actions. It's why British compliments sound so nasty sometimes. I wouldn't know. And I will say this, I do believe I am on the autism spectrum because I am able to remember almost anything that I've learned, whether it be from video game or firearms. Damn, that's a cool ability to have. I can hear the hard bass in the clip previously.
The abandonment issues, generational trauma, and the same last name. Now, I'm getting married on September 20th of this year, 2025. But I don't want to give my wife that same last name.
Seems simple enough, right? Well, this video is from July of 2025, but as I said before, he filed for his name change in April. But you could excuse this with the fact that the process was only finalized in July, and maybe he only said he was about to go do it for the sake of a punchier TikTok. He then goes on to talk about his time in the army, and how it informed his name change.
Scotty is not my real name. Story time! When I was mobilizing to Afghanistan, I got a chance to train with some pretty cool guys. And the training kind of sucked. So to keep morale high, I did a bunch of stupid accents. One of their favorites was the Scottish accent that I do, which led them to start calling me Scotsman, and then Scots, and then Scotty. So Scotty stuck. I learned a lot about myself in Afghanistan, who I was and who I wanted to be. Since then, I have been Scotty.
On the surface, this explanation seems pretty believable, until you remember that his middle name was already Scott. Wouldn't that be a much more typical reason to call him Scotty, rather than the fact he did a Scottish accent while deployed? People began to seriously question the reason for his name change, thinking there could have been something he was hiding. Sleuths managed to find his marriage license, which revealed that he had been honest about his marriage happening soon. His past also seemed to check out. Court records showed that nearly 2 decades ago, his mother had filed a protective order request.
Holy schizo. Well, I guess if you live by the sword, you die by the sword, because he did dog someone. Now he gets doxed back, but this is... it's the same with war. It's just a losing. It's just, you're just losing, right? Man, there's no winners in war. And I can't remember anything. I have an auto delete, I think. Earned disco polo to torture. And I was able to go outside one day and make a bow from a stick and a piece of paracord. God damn. How's it going, Mumi? Hello, Canarian! I'm pretty good, actually. How about you? Internet sleuths are scary as fuck. Yep. Yeah. That's why I have so much respect for the internet. It's like, it happens like this, and you're doxxed, and they know everything about you. Like, goddamn. They just need a single piece of information that can derive all the other information from. Live by the sword, and you die by it. Yup. Still, can't help but feel a little bad for him, because I don't know. I just do. I'm weak like that.
Against who is assumed to be his stepfather. There's also a separate report of Scotty's mom being charged for domestic assault and battery. Once again, checks out with his past.
Work? Gonna be relaxing soon? I hope you have a good weekend, my brother.
After this protective order was filed by his mother, Scotty's own records only really start in 2013, when he got a charge of forcible entry, which was promptly dismissed for unknown reasons. Just so we don't have to revisit this, there are actually 3 other instances of forcible entry charges, at least one of which is apparently tied to an eviction procedure, and one of them also involves someone else who shares a last name with Scotty, probably a brother of his. Then, in 2014, we have a marriage license application related to his first wife. 3 years later, Scotty filed for a a protective order against one of his brothers, although it was dismissed for insufficient evidence. Finally, in April 2020, Scotty filed for a protective order against his wife, which resulted in her having to surrender all firearms to law enforcement, and it was promptly succeeded by a positive drug test from her and divorce proceedings. At this point, Scotty and his ex-wife had 2 kids, so a lengthy custody battle ensued, which resulted in a joint custody arrangement where Scotty kept the kids for the most part, while his ex-wife had weekly visitation rights. As of February 2026, there are still somewhat regular updates to the case, and it seems that the kids have had what is called a guardian ad litem since October 2025. I should preface this with the obvious disclaimer that I'm not a lawyer, and I also have an IQ of 65, but from my general understanding, a guardian ad litem is when a custody battle develops to the point where the court appoints someone to advocate on the behalf of the kids so that neither parent gets away with mixing their personal interests in what's best for the child. Lastly, there was just one outlier in the records, a lawsuit filed by VShred.
Oh. I went for something similar in that case. Huh. Well, damn.
Against Scotty, but apparently it's related to intellectual property, so in all likelihood this was just a glorified copyright strike from VShred on Scotty as retaliation for making fun of him so much. Legally speaking, there wasn't that much on Scotty, but fortunately for his haters, people went way beyond the Call of Duty. John Dorsey, the owner of the Instagram account goob_u2, utilized the Oklahoma Open Records Act to request records of Scotty's employment at the police department. Scotty's legitimacy as a creator hinged very hard on the professions he spoke about occupying, from being a soldier to his supposed bounty hunter career, to him being a first responder, or farming as a cop, being a firefighter. All of these things really helped to build the image people had of him online. So if someone managed to find out that his time as a police officer wasn't all he had cracked it up to be, it would definitely do some serious damage to his reputation. Now, it's extremely important to note that what I'm about to go over are allegations made against Scotty that have been officially documented by the police. The fact that they've been documented does not mean that they're confirmed, and I don't personally endorse them. But for full context in the story, it's important that we cover them. During his time as a cop, he was placed at Tulsa Community College. Starting in December 2020 onwards, he allegedly made several statements that were deemed as, quote, conduct unbecoming of an officer. These include talking about sticking it in the butt of a newscaster, sharing information about his past sexual experiences with his ex-girlfriend, speaking to the college staff about cheating on his wife 35 times, trying to find one of the students on Facebook once he noticed that she wasn't wearing a bra, telling a student life employee he was going to start an OF account, and lastly...
Alright, okay, hold on. We can't operate on the basis of this is true. Again, these are allegations. None of this has been confirmed the way I understood it. So let's just say those are wild fucking actions to take, but it's not necessarily true.
Making inappropriate statements about a female student. By mid-2021, an internal investigation was being conducted on him as a complaint about his behavior had already been made. So, a lieutenant began to keep track and take notes of the things Scotty said. Establishing that this was a consistent pattern was easy, as according to this lieutenant, he personally heard Scotty talking about getting head. And when an attempt was made to intervene and counsel him against that sort of behavior while on the job, he was found to, quote, not take counseling very well, shut down, and pout. A few days after this lieutenant's interview, Scotty's captain was also interviewed, where he said that although Scotty was capable of being a good cop, he had a big ego and was constantly trying to impress everyone around him, whether it be with his body language or his voice, to the point where it became insubordination. In his own words, young Officer Kramer came to us in September and has a lot of rough edges. Probably the biggest issue is his inability to not talk. When directly asked about these complaints about his behavior, Scotty apparently denied all of them, except that he had previously admitted to having cheated on his ex-wife, which led to their marriage falling apart. He then went on to claim he was offended by being asked these questions and impulsively quit his job, which seems to confirm that he doesn't take criticism very well and will react emotionally, as was described by his captain. Interestingly enough, while he was quitting, Scotty is recorded as saying, "I appreciate you being professional, and there has not been a breakdown in communication, but I'm not going to go through with allegations of that. I've dealt with those types of allegations, as you know. I'm not looking towards building a pattern of allegations, so no thank you. There were a few more interesting pieces of information coming from these documents, such as his captain saying that Scotty was never career military, as his deployments were as a contractor. Although at this point, it was unclear what his job as a contractor was. Due to how many videos Scotty had posted talking about being deployed to Afghanistan, or posts of him in military clothes, some people immediately saw this report.
Wait, what? How long was it? How long ago was Afghanistan?
And assumed it meant that Scotty had lied about having served at all. I'd personally say that Scotty does go a bit overboard with the tactical LARPing on TikTok. He plays fast and loose with the truth, often interspersing references to having been in the military for 11 years, with recent photos of him taking part in the Oklahoma Governor's 20 marksman competition. This does not mean he doesn't have any legit experience working with or for the military. It just means that he carefully exaggerates just as much as he can without losing the plausible deniability of having lied. If you were to call him out on this, he'd easily be able to say that due to him showing the competition certificate, he wasn't intentionally misleading anyone. But obviously, the context of the video at least suggests this was some kind of military thing. The only other piece of information that's interesting here is that his lieutenant described that besides these odd behaviors from Scotty, he also reportedly had poor ethics when it came to actual police work. And keep in mind here, Scotty is referred to as Kramer. We were on a call. It came out as an armed robbery at Home Depot, so an officer and Kramer got in a vehicle. And it was reported later that Kramer went out of jurisdiction, and then he told that officer, "Oh, just lie and say that I couldn't go back on a one-way street." In another incident, he tried to intimidate someone by the way he was acting, by the way he was standing. He was trying to intimidate, almost like he was trying to provoke them to do something. He has issues with lurking and trying to eavesdrop on conversations, especially if the doors are closed. He eavesdrops frequently if there's closed-door meetings. With this information making its way to the public, a few
2001 to 2000. Okay, 21. Okay, so all right, it's not been that long, right? It always feels like that was a military operation from like 30 years ago or something to me, because in Europe, and you know, but fair enough, I guess. It's been recent, huh? Damn. Oh, I see my mistake. Yeah, no, it's fine. Fine.
Other claims were also
and I have an IQ of 50, so I know that I'm less smart than other people. You know, I mean, wait, under 50? God damn.
Made. All of
So your European room temp IQ.
which were reported on by Runvis. For example, there was one allegation from a jiu-jitsu instructor that Scotty had threatened her. I'm a female jiu-jitsu instructor that helps out with women's self-defense seminars, and to test me, he held me down by my throat and told me he could kill me right then, and it would be easy for him to get away with it because of his police background. He told me multiple times with his military background that he can have me killed and no one would know he was connected. This instructor would also go on to say that Scotty had a history of being fired or forced to resign from jobs, which seems to line up with the previous claim about him leaving the police department as soon as he was questioned on his inappropriate comments. The image Scotty had built for himself was now officially past the point of no return, as Runvis's most popular Instagram post about the issue now had almost 170,000 likes.
AK Fitness, here I am again. Or should
The more we hear about this dude, the more he looks like a fucking psychopathic narcissist, no? Bro, you're fine. Thanks. Must defend Europeans with vodka? That's when the war of Afghanistan was, mums. Yeah, no, I understand.
I call you Mr. Safe Space.
With his past mostly dug through, at this point you would think the controversy would be over. But as it turns out, in the process of Scotty attempting to walk back from the situation, he may have told another lie. Remember that Discord message where Scotty said that people were coming to his house, putting his family in danger? Runvis Coaching came forward once more to address this claim from Scotty, stating that his friend had requested public records to see if Scotty had actually called the police about this issue. What they found was that Scotty had called them, but he made no mention of anyone showing up at his house.
I'm calling to request a increased patrol at my home address. I'm heading out of town, and I'm a social media content creator with almost like 10 million followers. I'm receiving death threats, and I have family at home. I'd like to... Okay.
Now, if somebody showed up to my house in a threatening way, I would call the police and I would mention that.
People were immediately skeptical of this entire thing because why didn't he mention that people had been to his house to the police themselves? And furthermore, if he felt his family was in danger...
Ha! Your ex-post about streaming later than usually finally arrived? What the fuck? Only now?
Why did he leave? Wouldn't it have made more sense to stay and protect them? To be totally fair to Scotty, the phone call was made on January 27th, while the Discord announcement was made on January 29th. So it is possible that someone showed up at his house after the phone call, but before the message, sometime within that 2-day window. At this point, he had yet to provide any proof of anyone showing up at his house, but we'll keep this point in mind for later. Runvis also points out that Scotty is not and has never been a registered bounty hunter, meaning he was either operating illegally or this was simply untrue as well. He then accused Scotty and his wife of being swingers, which is a claim that I've seen no proof for. At this point, Runvis had positioned himself as Scotty's arch nemesis, and more people began reaching out with their own experiences. One of the more hilarious claims was regarding Scotty's time as a fireman. He claims that the reason he wears a hat in every video is because of an incident which burned his scalp. But as Runvis points out, the real explanation is simply that he is bald.
So why I wear a hat all the time? So I had second and third degree burns all over my scalp. I was out of work for like 3 months until I could go back. I went back to work and like legit a month later I had a knee surgery. So
no, but seriously, why would you tell such a tale that's very easily disproven? Does this look like a scalp that's so badly burned you have to wear a hat all the time? It's the same all the way around. He's literally just bald.
With enough of these rumors festering, Scotty finally decided to make a proper response to go over everything that had been claimed, starting with him doxing his haters, which he outright denied.
Starting out, did I respond to a hateful comment with hate and making fun of somebody who is a paraplegic? Yes. For that, Cody, I am sorry. Did I receive a comment stating that I look like the gay uncle from the Ozark television show? Yep. Which is true and objectively hilarious. And from that comment, I made...
Yeah, no. I don't believe a second of that. This is... Holy shit. Yeah, no, the more you see about this, the more you know. It just all seems very performative, as the video has said multiple times, so I just feel like I'm spoon-feeding you spoons, but what else can you say? It's just perfect timing for it. This is fake and gay fucking Quango. Ha!
A video where people have redacted information to make it seem as if I have doxed this person. I gave this person's name, profile photo, place of employment, and how long he worked there, state that he lived in, birth month, birth year, and 3 random first names as possible associates. All of those things were on his public Facebook profile.
Which is still considered doxing. Even just showing to a public audience a profile picture of his, it doesn't have to be him, me showing Devs Walker VT's profile picture on stream and saying, yeah, I hate this dude, is doxing. Public information, showing public information with a certain intent is still doxing. Even if anyone can look it up. The issue is that you looked it up and published it. The publishing is the issue, my guy. That is still considered doxing.
Things that I did give in the video that were not public information.
Did I make the Depths Walker angry?
I got off of Google, not because I used to be a bounty hunter. That information was the last 4 digits of his phone number and the name of the street that he was last listed at residing at.
While it is probably true that most of the information he got was from Google, the same applies to most of the information people got about him. They simply searched up his name and started digging from there. Additionally, Scotty did directly publish all of the information he found to his millions of followers, undoubtedly raising the risk of someone doing something crazy with that information to this random commenter. His post was originally made to his TikTok, which has 4 million followers. He then reposted it to Instagram, where he has 2 million, and then Threads, where he has 140,000. This brings the exposure up to at least 6 million people or more who could have seen this guy's private information. It wasn't some lapse in judgment, it was deliberate. On top of that, while he tries to play off the bounty hunter thing as a joke,
the things that I did give in the video that were not public information, I got off of Google, not because I used to be a bounty hunter.
Based on the original video, he was being serious.
And something else you may not know
is that I'm a former bounty hunter.
But this isn't the only dishonest thing he does in his response. Let's take a look at how he addresses the claim about people showing up to his house.
Most of this started as in response to the ICE video that I made, and whenever that video went live, I did start getting death threats. And I've gotten death threats before, so I handled it the same way I did last time, where I called in a watch order on my home. Usually it's just internet trolls. When I called in that watch order, I was in the airport about to step on the plane to go to New York for a charity organization.
As many people pointed out, this is true. He did call the police. But what he neglects to mention in this video is that he stated on his Discord that people had already showed up to his house, which is kind of a strange thing to leave out here. And of course, he makes sure to humble brag that he was going to a charity event instead of just saying he was going out of town.
For a charity organization.
Now, after addressing these things, he moves on to talk about the findings in the police documents, as well as the rumors that he had committed some kind of sex offense.
People started throwing around allegations, and what they're referring to is that 9 years ago in my previous marriage, I had an affair with a woman who had previously been dating a cop. They just broke up. I had 3 consensual sexual encounters with this woman, once in her new apartment when I helped her move, once at my home while my wife is at work. I was a bad husband. And the third at a part-time job an hour outside of town when I was working security at a construction yard as an off-duty law enforcement officer. Afterwards, she told me that she still loved her ex-boyfriend, that she was going to get back with him and tell him that we had slept together. The day after that happened, I was asked to leave the department. I was fired, which makes sense because it's a cardinal sin to sleep with another cop's girl. Again, I sucked.
While this story definitely could be true, it once again reeks of the humble bragging he usually does. I mean, if he was involved with another cop's girlfriend, wouldn't that be brought up in all of the HR interviews conducted about his poor conduct? Isn't that literally the kind of thing human resources exists for? Besides this, he is at least being consistent in denying the claims that he was inappropriate at his job, which is something he also did while being interviewed by his lieutenant. However, I'm not sure how cheating on your wife with another cop's girlfriend gets mistaken for cheating on your wife 35 times, which is what was actually claimed in the documents. He continues.
Not just because of that, but because I was 22 years old and lacked the critical thinking skills that it takes to be a good police officer. I drove 130 miles an hour everywhere I went because, again, 22 years old and I had a cop car. If I got into pursuits or aided other departments in pursuits, I would cut off other cops to try to be a hero. I would drive 70 miles an hour down dirt roads. At one point, I actually ran a person off the road and didn't even realize it until 3 hours later when he called the department and was gunning for my badge. I got written up all the time for these things.
Once again, if all of this is true and he got written up about it all the time, why would this not be in the documents? I don't think he was in any pursuits or running anyone off of dirt roads without realizing it. This is just another case of him trying to sound like his life is a TV show. He was a glorified security guard in Oklahoma. I don't think a lot of hot pursuits were going on at Tulsa Community College. It really confuses me on why he's using these weird lies as examples of why he's a bad cop, instead of the mutually verified claims made by his captain and lieutenant. He then abruptly ends his explanation about his time in the police and moves on to the bounty hunter thing.
Now I moved down to Texas and I became a bail enforcement agent. A lot of people are saying that that's false. I was sitting in the office one day, learning how to do my job, and my boss came in and handed me 2 certification cards. One was for private investigating, one was for bail enforcement agent. And I said, "Sir, I didn't take these exams. How did I get these?" And he said, "Stop asking questions, son." So I did. because I wanted to keep my job. After a while working there, I heard through the grapevine that the woman I had an affair with was alleging sex. And as you can imagine, my heart fell into my stomach. But as somebody with a background in law enforcement, albeit brief, I knew that if she had made those allegations and made a report, that there would be an investigation and that we would get through that. And because it didn't happen, I wasn't worried about it. But there was never such an investigation nor report. So I moved on with my life.
It's odd how he quickly glides through this topic without showing any evidence he was ever a legally certified bounty hunter. I was sort of expecting him to throw something up on screen or physically hold up something that could verify he was, at one point, certified. While I can't say that he for sure wasn't one, I don't understand why he wouldn't just produce some kind of evidence or receipt that he was. It can't be that hard. His next stop during this response regards his time in the military as a contractor.
I've seen a lot of rumors going around that somehow I'm stolen valor, that I spent 11 years in the Oklahoma Army National Guard and I never deployed. Well, that's true. I never deployed with the Oklahoma Army National Guard. I deployed with a company called Triple Canopy. And here's a video of me in Kabul with a geolocation on it. My job title in Afghanistan was Armed Guard Level 2. I was a gate guard. Entry Control Point, ECP, and sometimes I was in machine gun towers, and those were even cardboarded up. Glorified security guard.
This is probably the part of his response which contains the most verifiable truth, and you can almost see how he gets bolder when talking about it. Most, if not all of what he said here has receipts, even if he doesn't admit to playing his time in Afghanistan up as if he was an actual soldier in some of his TikTok posts. But it appears he has directly lied about his military service as a means of securing sponsorships in private. One person that came forward in the midst of this entire situation was former Fat Guy Fitness. He's a content creator who made a post detailing his various grievances with Scotty, as they were friends very early in Scotty's TikTok career. But the most important thing he reveals is this message, wherein Scotty is messaging a company to secure a sponsorship. In his qualifications, he states, "I'm a father, firefighter, paramedic student, and combat veteran." This obviously implies that he has been in combat. Now,
technically, no. Not even technically. I am licensed first responder. I'm not a paramedic or anything. Where I'm at, it just means that you can assess a situation and act accordingly. And you can properly do CPR. That's all it means, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's all it... Yeah, it's like a day course or something like that. Yeah. And I did that. I have first responder badge thing, certificate. Or was the certificate just for the CPR? I don't remember. Anyway.
Now it's possible that he just forgot to mention his active firefight experience in his response video because he just didn't think it was important, but I think the more likely explanation is that he was lying to secure a sponsorship. After this, he circles back to his time as a cop in Tulsa, and at least here, he outright admits that some of the things claimed were true, bringing up him talking to other cops about fellatio or trying to get some college girl's Facebook. Although he says that this was pretty common behavior for cops. He doesn't mention the claims he was eavesdropping or the claim he was trying to intimidate and provoke people, but he does say that he made an HR complaint about his captain and his lieutenant, and he puts a long string of text on screen. Although I can't personally confirm that this HR complaint is legit and dated to before the complaints about his behavior started, it's worth remembering that the complaints about him started in December 2020, and it came not just from his captain and lieutenant, but also from fellow coworkers and TCC staff. So I highly doubt that this was a concerted effort from a few higher-ups who were out to get him. Regardless, this is what his complaint said. I would like to start this narrative by stating that I do not believe the CTC Police Department is inherently a bad place to work. However, during my time at Metro Campus, under the supervision of my lieutenant and my captain, I have found myself in a toxic, unhealthy, awkward, and unbearable work environment. As I come into work, I barely speak to my teammates in the Metro campus as a result of this feeling. I am treated differently as an outcast or unequal. My police officer counterparts do not respect nor speak to me for reasons I do not know. On multiple occasions, I have been talked down to by the lieutenant. I have heard her speaking about me negatively and derogatorily to someone on the phone with her office door shut when she thought that no one could hear. I have heard the captain speak to the lieutenant in his office saying things such as, "He's a savage pig in a round world." Continue to write down all issues. That way, when and if he goes to the chief's office and complains about being picked on, we can say, "No, here's why." Metro campus is an island, and all the other campuses can fall into the ocean for all I care. In this HR complaint, he is indirectly confirming that he was indeed eavesdropping on his captain and lieutenant. But beyond this, there's just no way to verify that these things were said about him or not. After this, he complains about the department's lack of commitment to certain limitations of his work hours due to him being a full-time father of 2, and that although the captain was more cooperative, his lieutenant went out of her way to inconvenience him whenever she could, even in small ways like making snide remarks towards him or giving him incomplete instructions to tasks that would make him take longer. Honestly, it could be that he's telling the truth here. It's not as if Scotty is the only slightly dysfunctional person who managed to become a cop, but ultimately there's no way we can tell who was more in the wrong here. The rest of the video has a lot of him retracing and giving extra details about his time as a cop or his time in deployment. So I'm going to summarize the parts that aren't related to that, as we've already gone over that stuff. First, he shows pictures of the burns he suffered as a fireman, as well as the disability checks he got for the burns.
Wait, but he said there's scarred tissue, but we saw a picture that is after the whole incident with the burned skin. And he didn't have burnt skin at that point, so what are they trying to say here?
And although this stuff is helpful to establish the severity of his medical issues during that time, it doesn't make his story about why he wears a cap any less cap. He probably does just wear a hat because he's bald, and I don't blame him for that. The day the Reaper comes for me, get ready for a whole new line of beanies and hats because I'm going to be needing them. Secondly, he addresses the claim that his coaching business is a scam, saying that he's always been open about having other people do the actual coaching in his business because he can't personally handle every client. Because I haven't seen any credible claims that he's gone out of his way to mislead people about the nature of his coaching, I'm inclined to say that he's not actually scamming people, because if he were, it would have already come out given how much people hate this guy. In his response, Scotty mentions that people have been calling him V-Shred 2.0 because of this, but it's not as if his criticisms of V-Shred were focused on the mere fact that V-Shred sells coaching, so I honestly don't think that's applicable to him. Lastly, he talks about his public wedding registries, where he sets things up so fans of his can send him donations and gifts, which is something that some people took issue with, describing him as an e-beggar. However, I think, especially in this day and age, everyone who's a content creator has a decent brunt of their online existence revolve around donos and things of that sort. So unless you're going hard in the paint and sympathy baiting people into donating to you, I don't think it's fair to turn this into an issue. What is interesting, and perhaps the most fitting send-off to this response, is that he makes fun of people who were fixating on trying to get him to shave off his huge mustache, claiming that he had already shaved it a week and a half prior of his own accord, and not because of anything that was happening online. But as per a tweet shared by Runvis, this was provably false, which just brings us back to Scotty's tendency to lie about small, pointless things.
So I had already kind of pointed this out when I said that Scotty still had his mustache in his apology video, but he said in this response video here that he shaved it a week and a half ago. Well, here's even more proof of him lying about absolutely stupid things, because he still has the duster when he is at a presentation on the 29th. So why are we lying about the date on which you shaved your mustache, Scotty?
In May of 2025, Dr. K, who I would describe as a therapy and mental health YouTuber, did an interview with Scotty. And despite the fact that this took place long before any of the controversies, there's a point in the interview where Dr. K manages to break through the discipline is everything coach persona of Scotty and draws some real sincerity out of him.
Yeah, but the valuation of yourself doesn't carry weight. I can't value myself enough to feel better about who I am. My value is not intrinsic. It's not something I get to decide. It's something that is given to me based on who I am and what I do for others. I believe
While that is true to some extent, purely operating on just that will break you. Yes, the societal value exists and you are measured by it. That is true and will always be true. But if you solely operate on that, it will break you slowly but surely. And I hope you can still value yourself outside of social value. Because that is the comfort that you will have when society forsakes you in some way. Like, for example, back in the 2010s, where anime people got hated on by everyone. Your social worth was really low during that time, so you had to value yourself all the more to not break. So while he's saying some truth, please don't just do that. Oh, God.
Believe that. I know that's not a great look, but I believe that.
It's ironic that he couches this admission with, "It's not a great look." Seemingly, everything for Scotty is partly about how it looks for others, which is why he so frequently resorts to socially engineering how other people see him. The only problem with that is, when you lie that frequently to impress people, it doesn't matter how small the lies are, you will get caught. When you're uncomfortable with yourself because of whatever internal issues you may have, people tend to strongly project how they want to be perceived because they're insecure. But this shouldn't come off as a surprise to anyone. If you keep up with the commentary coverage of online fitness figures, you'll quickly find out that a lot of these guys are screwed up in one way or another. It just comes down to how willing they are to be honest about their flaws. Scotty's latest TikTok was posted 10 days after his response, wherein he seems to hint at his own personal shortcomings, but he essentially chalks it up to, well, we all fail sometimes.
I hope that none of us, or all of us, are judged by the actions of our weakest moment, but rather by the strength we show if and when we are given a second chance. Life lessons and wisdom are purchased through failures. You're allowed to fail.
He ends the
Yeah, but if your failure is doxing someone completely and utterly and then not making a big deal out of it because it's not a big deal to you, that's not just a mistake, my guy, but alright.
Video by drinking a Red Bull. Meanwhile, Runvis posted this.
It feels nice exposing the lies, but it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, so.
Damn.
I had to rinse it out with a little Rise energy.
I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
Holy shit. Bro, his hater actually hates him with a passion. Goddamn. I hope that's not the MCA. Oh well. Too late now. This was Turkey Tom. It was a really good video. I enjoyed it. Scary dude. Scary shit what happens on the fucking internet. Seriously. Anyway. Yeah. Leave him a comment, like, and subscribe. Pretty cool analysis of stuff. Or review, I guess, of what's come out. Anyway. I will link him right now. And with this, I think I'm gonna end it here for today. Because it's already pretty late. Gotta go sleep and do stuff. And play a game or two with my friends and go to sleep. Yeah, that's the plan for today. Anyway, if I'm not wrong, the Fox Woman is online. Get some rest. Indeed, rest is very important. The Fox Woman. There she is. Okay, thanks for the stream. Thank you for coming over and watching. Tomorrow it will be at regular hours once again. She's And Powder too. Yep. No, I read it Powder yesterday, if I'm not wrong. Powder is pretty cool too. Just there's been controversy about Powder. I mean, Powder and Lucy, right? Lucy Pyre? I don't know, but I have no idea what happened there, and I'm not interested to know about it if it's not too important, because I'm not involved in either of their communities. No. Maybe I'll look at it in like private and see what's going on. But I'll probably not cover that at all on my stream. I've been playing Animal Crossing, the fish just ignoring me. Damn. Anyway, I do wish everyone a good morning, good day, good evening, good night, sweet dreams, and goodbye. Here's a rat. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.